finanzas ay labis. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Morning.
Good morning, Melanie. I think we can start. So you can take over.
All right. Thank you, Phyllis. How many should we be in total, just out of curiosity?
We should have like 10 participants.
All right. All right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but we can start. Yeah.
So, good morning, everyone. I'll put on my video to introduce myself. My name is Melanie Hapisu Wambogo. I am a digital marketing specialist. I train, but also implement. I actually run my own digital marketing agency where we work with businesses to help them understand all these things when it comes to digital marketing, but also execute for them. I've had about 7 years experience in the industry, just working with different brands, both big and small. And it's been quite interesting just getting to learn from all of them. So I'm looking forward to training you today. Happy to have and answer any questions that may arise. But in a nutshell, that is me. I think I'll do a round of introduction since we're not such a big class. And I think I'd love for everyone to just introduce themselves. Of course, I can see your name, but maybe just tell us your name and anything you'd like us to know about you, and maybe one thing you look forward to learning by the end of this digital marketing training that I'll be taking you through. So I think I'll start off with whoever I see first on my list. I have Dennis. Maybe we can start with you. So we can have Dennis, Felicitas, Gloria, then Lillian. Then we'll continue from there. So feel free to introduce yourself. You don't have to put on your video, but if you'd like to, no problem. Dennis, I don't know if you're there. Great. Feel free to go ahead, Dennis, no problem. All right. Okay, Dennis, we don't seem to hear you. So maybe as you sort your audio issues, we can hear from Felicitas, and then Gloria, then Lillian, then Margaret. Felicitas, go ahead. Okay, Phyllis, are people allowed to unmute themselves, or maybe audio has been locked?
Yeah, they should be able.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you, Felicitas. Hi, feel free to introduce yourself.
My name is Felicitas Asene. Actually, I'm currently a student in my final year, but I developed a passion for digital marketing in my third year, and I'm really interested in pursuing that passion. And yeah, it will be a wonderful thing that I'm learning from someone like you and having my colleagues around here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Felicitas. Gloria, over to you. Then Lillian, then Margaret.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, yes.
Hi.
My name is Gloria. Yes, my name is Gloria Kianjui. I have worked in communications for the last 7 years, but now I'm looking to upskill, and so that's why I decided to join the program. Yes.
Great. Upskilling. Thank you so much for that. Margaret, over to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So my name is Margaret. I've been working in the career development industry for the last 3 years as a LinkedIn development specialist and resume writer. But I've also grown an interest in digital marketing because I've done some side certifications as well. And I'm happy to be part of the team.
Great. Thank you for that. All right. I'm not sure who is skipped. I'm just going back to names. Between Gloria and Lillian, I don't know who hasn't introduced themselves. Maybe you can go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Lillian Wangari. I'm interested in this digital marketing training to upskill my skills in digital marketing because I've also done some certifications, and this will be a great opportunity to upskill my skills and continue further into the digital marketing space.
Great. Thank you and nice to meet you. Maybe we can hear from Wilsak, and then we can go back
Hi
to
guys,
Dennis. Hi.
I'm Wilsak Ndongo. I'm a student and also I have some certifications on digital marketing, so I would like to upskill.
Great. Thank you for that. Dennis, I don't know if your audio is back. If not, maybe you can type in the chat, but maybe let's try audio first. All right, so Dennis, I think you make use of the chat. Feel free to introduce yourself and maybe one thing you're looking forward to based on this digital marketing training. I know Mercy's from the Strathmore team, so maybe I won't ask you to introduce yourself, but thank you so much everyone for just doing that round of intro. I think it's always so important to just understand who then I'm meeting on the other side of the screen, so that then I can customize the training better. I hear a lot of upskilling, which is a good thing. I'll tell you the truth. Upskilling doesn't end in whatever space you are, especially digital marketing. A lot of things change on a daily. If we're talking matters, social media marketing, for example, you're competing with platforms that are unpredictable. Today there's one change, tomorrow there's another change. Today it could be down, tomorrow it could be working. So there's quite a lot, that we can learn. And I look forward to just taking you through this training session to learn quite a bit. I have trained people on this, and it's been quite interesting to see their growth, some from knowing nothing to becoming really great experts in digital marketing. Others like you who've taken a few certifications, but also take a training like this to just improve and end up being better. So I definitely believe you come out of here better. You definitely can start a career in digital marketing in case you've not started. So don't worry about that. I'm available in case you'd like to ask any questions. I'm always here. One of the things I'll do, I'll share a link to my LinkedIn profile so that in case anyone would like to connect on that side, feel free to connect. But towards at the end of the session, I'm going to share my phone number in case anyone would like to ask questions on the site. Then of course, I'll definitely open up that opportunity. I know some people are not comfortable, to ask questions in front of a group. So I'm sort of putting that out there so that in case anyone would like to ask a question in private or in public, I'll make that available. So I've shared the link to my profile on the chat. So whenever you have time, you'll just have a look at that and see what's happening on that side. We have a question on the chat. Someone is asking if the class being recorded. Yes, I can see the recording is running, so I'm sure that that will be made available to you at a later time. So definitely yes. Great. So I'll start off. Maybe one of the things I'd like to start off with is my journey when it comes to digital marketing, because then you'll notice through this training, I'll do quite a lot of referencing to examples that I've gone through in the real world, so that then you're able to relate that to whatever we're doing here. But maybe before I do that, I can see Dennis has typed in the chat. He says he's Dennis. He's a comms liaison at Namati, which is an NGO. He's had heavy interest in digital marketing as he's looking to link it up with his communication work. Thank you for that, Dennis, and nice to meet you and nice to know what you're looking forward to. So for those who just joined, my name is Melanie Hapisu. I'll start off with a short story of my career. So I have a background in IT. I studied business and IT at Strathmore University for my undergraduate, worked in the IT space as a software developer for around a year or so. I could do it, but I didn't enjoy doing the work. So as I kept doing the work, one of the things I remember my friends used to make fun of is how addicted I was to social media. And they used to really try to prompt me to start a career in it. Of course, I didn't know it could be a career. So I used to just ignore. But eventually, when I realized that I was not enjoying IT as much, it's something I explored, of course, with friends and family in terms of helping them to market. Is it a product? Is it an event? And that little effort led to something bigger. So I began to study online. Google has lots of free courses that you can take as a first foundation sort of stepping stone to learning about digital marketing. So that's what I did first. And that really sparked my curiosity. So even as I was executing for friends and family, I kept on learning. And I remember for me, Google was the biggest, can I say, space where I did a lot of learning. But of course, thereafter, then I found organizations that were offering trainings, and I managed to do a few of those trainings, just maybe by companies just like Melanie's that are offering training services. And I took some trainings there, but eventually I cemented it by, going to a school that does marketing courses. It's called International School of Advertising. And that's where I learned so much that eventually gave me confidence to apply for a job in the marketing field. Of course, a lot of my experience was in the IT space, so this was a whole career change, which was quite difficult, but it was possible. So I applied to this agency that was actually not advertising for jobs, but I thought they were doing really interesting work when it came to marketing on ground. So I wondered how they were still communicating that message of marketing offline to now online. And that's how I positioned myself as their problem solver when it comes to making the offline marketing also be visible on an online space. And that's where my career began. Was it tough? Yes, it was. Learning a new skill is not a joke. You need to put in the time. So one of the things I'll tell you, even post this training, is ensure that you have some time for yourself to build up and just understand everything we've learned. Make it as real as possible. Let's not leave it at theory. Try to relate it to day-to-day things that you see or day-to-day brands you interact with. So one of the things you'll notice is after I do the intro for today's session, since today is an introduction class, you'll realize that I'll give you let me call it a food for thought kind of task that you can just think about using whatever brand you'd like to think of. I see some of us are working, you can use the company you're working for. For those of us who are not working for any company, you can choose any random brand that you can think of, either local, either international, and just, use that to apply what we are going to learn today, because that helps a lot. So for me, I realized that was something that really came in handy through my career, that even enabled me to build up to the level of starting a digital marketing agency to serve other clients. So I'll keep it that short, but the whole point of telling you that is a lot of experimentation will happen in between. Today I thought I could do skill A in digital marketing, but tomorrow I realized, oh, I've learned skill B, C, D. What exactly do I need to do? Do I need to niche down? Do I need to offer everything? Those are some of the things we'll talk about all through today's training. But for purposes of kicking off this class, I'd love us to start from a perspective of just understanding what exactly is digital marketing. And a lot of us, have different ways we see digital marketing. And I think I'd love to just do a round of comments again, maybe just hear from a few people. When you hear the terms digital marketing, what comes to mind? I usually tell people in my sessions, there are no wrong answers. So feel free to just say, when you hear digital marketing, what exactly comes to your mind? What do you think it means? Or what do you think it actually involves? So I think I can start off with Wilsack, then maybe we can hear from Gloria, and then Margaret. Then we can proceed. So Wilsack, what do you think digital marketing is, or what does it mean to you?
Okay, to me, digital marketing is the promotion of businesses or companies, organizations in the digital world. That's social media, websites. Yeah.
Great. Nice. I love that. Gloria, what do you think digital marketing is?
I think brand awareness.
Mhm.
Yeah, showcasing different brands. I said brand
Okay.
awareness.
Okay. I like that. Brand awareness. Finally, Margaret, what comes to mind when you hear digital marketing? Maybe you've forgotten to unmute yourself. Margaret, anything to add on? All right, so we'll come back to you later. So definitely everything you've said so far sounds like what digital marketing is. You may even hear some people saying digital marketing is social media marketing, but you can't use one term to explain another term. So for me, when I think of digital marketing, I think of it in two different ways. It could be a kind of marketing that is done utilizing, of course, platforms that require the internet for them to work. So when I think of things like that, I think of our Instagrams, our TikToks, and so on and so forth. So they cannot necessarily work without the internet. But when I also think of digital marketing, I think of a type of marketing on a digital platform or a digital technology that doesn't necessarily require the internet. A good example would be the messages we receive from our mobile subscriber company. Say Safaricom today is sending you a message telling you they have a data offer. That's happening on your phone, in this case, which is considered a digital technology, but doesn't necessarily require the internet. The televisions we see in supermarkets running small advertisements, that could be an example of a digital marketing, platform that doesn't necessarily need it. We're seeing the growth of digital billboards, all over our city. That's also another example. So I like to think of it in those two ways because sometimes we are very small minded when we think of digital marketing, and yet it could entail a lot, just the same way people could tell you that digital marketing, doesn't have a lot. It's just posting for people, that's not it. And I'm so glad that we're having this training because by the end of it all, you'll be able to have some clarity around things like that, So it's very important for you to understand this from the very beginning so that you avoid calling everybody a digital marketer. Not everybody is a digital marketer. That's something else that we're going to clarify. So what are some of the benefits? Like what comes to mind when you think of why should a brand actually consider, why should a business consider to actually do digital marketing as compared to offline marketing? I'd love to hear from a few people, before I share some of the benefits from my side. Maybe we can hear from Felicitas. What do you think are some of the benefits of marketing your business digitally? What comes to mind? Or maybe we can hear from anyone. I don't want to put pressure on people, but I mean, if you'd love to just share your insight, what comes to mind? What benefits do you think are there when it comes to marketing digitally? Anyone? Yes, Lillian.
What comes to mind is the higher rate of client involvement as compared to offline.
Nice.
You're
Involvement
able
in
to
which
involve yourself with the client rather than the offline one where you'll not be able to engage with them effectively.
Nice. I like that. And engagement is such a critical aspect when it comes to marketing, because you want to be able to know that, one, I'm talking to an actual human being, and two, this is what this human being actually thinks of whatever I'm saying. To avoid a situation where, you know, you're sort of working in limbo. Maybe you can hear from Gloria before I go to the chat. And for those of us who want to engage on the chat, feel free. That's why it's there, it's open. So you don't have to necessarily unmute. Gloria, go ahead.
I think it's also cost effective in terms of when you compare to billboards or printing out flyers. Yeah.
Nice, cost effective. Definitely, yes. Although when you work with the bigger brands, you'll realize sometimes when you compare how much they spend versus how a small business would spend, sometimes it's a bit different, and you'll realize that people will not consider it so cost effective. So, yes, cost effective, definitely. Anyone else would like to add on as I catch up on the chat? I can see in the chat, sorry about your audio issues, Margaret, that's okay. You can participate in the chat, but I can see you say a benefit you see is expanded market reach and establishing a community. Definitely something we're going to talk about. I can see Dennis in the chat saying reach. Currently, majority of the persons globally interact digitally. Hence, you're able to reach a larger audience. Definitely true. Felicitas, I can see you're typing. Feel free to continue. I can see you say it enables businesses to acquire and retain new customers. Definitely. So you see, guys, you have an idea of what digital marketing is. I love that we're not starting from scratch, but that's okay. So lots of benefits you've mentioned. So you're able to reach a wider audience, and not just wider in terms of many people, but wider in terms of even geographic location. So if you like today, you can do communication and target it to even specific countries, not necessarily just your local country. Of course, it's cost efficient. We've talked about it. One of the things we'll get to mention during this training is the paid side of this whole conversation. Can you rent a space to advertise online? How costly is it? How cheap is it? You'll realize on platforms like Facebook, maybe Instagram, Google, you can advertise per day on a paid space for as low as $1. So depending on what your budget is, then you can work around that. Of course, engagement, that's something that has been mentioned. It's easier for you to personalize communication to make someone feel as though you are talking to them. And so that makes it easier for people to engage. I think for me, the biggest benefit I love and I see is you're able to measure. Today, we cannot necessarily measure how many people looked at that billboard, but we're able to measure our digital marketing efforts, which is something quite critical because you're able to answer the hard questions. You know, why did this happen? What does it mean? What can we do? So that's something that's extremely important. But in addition to that, I think I've talked about the targeting bit, which will come in handy because sometimes you don't want to talk to everybody. You want to sort of narrow down and talk to a specific group of people. That's something that is actually possible when it comes to digital marketing. So already you can see lots of good things are happening on the digital space. And a lot, you know, is actually going to happen, and you're going to see a lot of even more benefit as we keep going through the training. But for me, I usually tell people is one thing you have to keep in mind when it comes to this industry is a lot of things change, and they change very, very quickly. So if you're not careful, you could be left behind, you know, simply because of little changes that are happening. Right now, I'm sure you've heard people talk about AI, which is one of the things I'll briefly talk through at some point. And AI has been there for a while, but why is it that in 2023, 2024 is when everybody is certainly talking about it? That's the digital space for you. So what does digital marketing entail as an umbrella? You know, what kind of things fall under it? There's a lot. And for today, I'll just introduce the specific parts of it. But as we keep going, we'll go into the detail of each of them for you to be able to understand what exactly each of these sections mean. And I know you're probably sitting there. I've seen someone ask for the recording. Recording will be shared. I know something else that people will probably ask for is notes. That will also be shared. I'm more conversational. I'll share my screen here and there, so don't worry about that. But I think it's better for us to learn from examples. You're likely to remember that some more. So just briefly, I'll share my screen to show you a list of some of the things that fall under the digital marketing categories. This may not be everything. Why do I say that? Because tomorrow things may have changed. So there's quite a lot that falls under this beautiful umbrella of ours. And usually what I say, it all depends with what you think is best, depending on the business you're marketing, or depending on the kind of what can I call it? The kind of message you're trying to pass on. So you'll realize that a lot is entailed, but does that mean that you necessarily have to utilize everything that is on this slide? Not necessarily. So maybe someone can give me a confirmation via audio. Can you see my screen? I've shared my entire screen, so I'm not able to see the team side, but are you able to see my screen? Someone confirm.
Sure, yeah, we can see a screen.
Amazing. So this is our digital marketing umbrella. Actually, I want you to think of it like that, literally like an umbrella. And under this umbrella, there's a lot of things involved. So some of these things you may have heard of, some you may have not, but that's why we're here during this training, to go through those terms. So the first thing I'll start with is social media marketing. Just like it sounds, it's a kind of marketing that happens on a social media platform. A social media platform, in this case, being a platform that people join with an aim of being social. They would like to socialize, meet their friends, make new friends, and interact with them on this online platform. So already, as you keep that in mind, I want you to ask yourself, the communications that you've been seeing online, whether it's from individuals, whether it's from businesses on social media platforms, how social has it actually been? Are brands invading the social media space? Those are some of the questions I want you to ask yourself, but we'll go deeper into that. We also have another category we call sponsored marketing. And under this is where the influencer marketing and the digital advertising elements fall. Digital advertising in this case being what I was talking about a few minutes ago. You could decide, yes, I'm posting things on my page, but I want to rent a space online to market. So almost like renting a billboard, but now instead on a digital space. So you can do that by paying for the space for a specific number of days, target specific locations. That's what we're calling digital advertising. And for me, I really love this because of the cost side of it. Not all of us can afford to do billboards. Even my company can't afford to do billboards at the moment. So digital becomes quite critical, and it's actually possible to make the best out of that. But closely related to that, something else that you can actually pay for in the digital marketing space is influencer marketing. We'll talk more about influencers, but you're basically working with an influential person. I've not said a famous person, an influential person to market your brand, but it has to sort of be natural. In terms of it has to, or it's better when it falls or adjusts into their day-to-day life, so that it doesn't look necessarily like they're selling because they're getting paid by the client, but more because they actually believe in the product. So again, just doing intros, we'll get deeper into that as well. We have email marketing, again, a form of marketing that is done via email. Only difference in this case, most times when we talk about it from a digital marketing category perspective, we are using an email marketing tool. I'll introduce some of those tools to you. But basically what this tool does is it enables you to customize your email in a way that normal emails won't allow you to customize, from color to images to fonts to adding buttons. And the best part about it is you're able to track. So on normal email, other than getting a delivery confirmation, you're not able to tell much. But when you use an email marketing tool, you're able to know what time did people even open my email, what locations were they in, and so on and so forth. Then we also have search engine optimization. This is to do with search engines. A good example could be Google, where you search for certain queries and you get responses. So search engine optimization is basically where does this company's website rank when people search for certain things, either the name of the company or products or services related to this company. So today, if I'm searching for digital marketing agencies in Nairobi, will I see Melanie's company, DigiPath Africa? Are they on page 1 of Google or page 2 or page 20? You know, that is what search engine optimization is, where people actually rank when it comes to this whole conversation of searching. Then we also have mobile marketing. I gave an example of Safaricom and their messages, so it could come in that one form. Nowadays, I think we're seeing it on WhatsApp. Many brands have talked about things like broadcasts. Again, I'll show you a bit of that, where they send bulk messages to people that actually do some marketing for the brand. So that could be mobile marketing. But if you have some of these apps on your phone, say the Jumias, the Bolt Food, the Uber Eats, sometimes they send notifications on the app to market. So you probably hear them saying something like, it's lunchtime, you know, place your order for food, for example. So that's an example of mobile marketing, just in a different way. We also have affiliate digital marketing. So for those of us who've probably done a sales job before, you sell and you get a commission. In this case, that's what affiliate digital marketing is. It's just that it's happening on a digital platform. So affiliates are paid on commission basis. We have companies even here in Kenya that have affiliates. One big affiliate program I know about is Jumia, where you can sign up to be an affiliate. They give you customized links that you can share for people to buy through. And when people purchase, of course, you get a commission. Really good for companies that are selling products and you'd like people to know about them far and wide. So a good, I can say, affordable way to market. We also have out of home, the digital billboards that I was talking about, really growing. We'll go deeper into that. Some of them are actually even introducing an element of being measurable. So you'll realize that for some of these billboards, I know I've heard that some of the screens, for example, at the airport, or like the screen that we have at Archives, I think in CBD, have ways to measure how long people are viewing the billboard, what was their reaction like. I don't know how true it is, it's just things I've heard, but I know that we may actually grow to that level to be able to measure, was this billboard actually effective from a digital perspective. Then, of course, we have a lot more, but I thought to also just put video marketing separately because that's the direction we're going in. We're having very many video-only platforms being launched. So this could grow to something of its own, so something good to think about. Of course, I'll talk about more as we keep going. We have things like online PR, which we'll get into, but already, as you can see, there's a lot. So if you decided as a business today to use all of these elements when it comes to digital marketing, surely you would be so confused. I'm not even sure you'd be able to measure which one is working or not. So usually I tell people, you don't have to necessarily use all of them, but just think of, based on the people you're targeting, and that's where it starts. You need to think of, out of my target audience, which platforms are they on? Or which ones would work for them based on this and this, and how can my business get started when it comes to that. So maybe till that point, does anyone have a question? Any clarifications you'd like me to make? Great. Maybe if there are no questions or clarifications, I'd love to hear some reactions after seeing all those elements of digital marketing. What do you think? What has come to mind? Anything anyone would love to say something? Maybe you can just unmute and speak or raise your hand. Any reactions to what we've just gone through? Okay, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We're still getting to know each other, so I know we'll have a bit more engagement as we keep going. So something critical that I've mentioned is you don't have to utilize all these platforms. You just need to figure out what works for your target audience. And how do you actually figure out that? I'm sure you've heard people talk about coming up with a strategy. And in simple terms, I don't want to complicate things. I don't want to make you feel like I'm starting to introduce difficult terms. A strategy is a plan. A strategy is a map. Something that will show you the direction around where you should go, how you should do things, and so on and so forth. So when you think of it like that, when you're coming up with a plan for digital marketing, just based on the intro that we've done, what are some of the things you need to keep in mind? One of the things I've mentioned is target audience. What else, or what exactly about target audience do you think we need to know to enable us to do the best digital marketing ever? And I think for this, I'd love to hear from most of us. So I think I'll start with Gloria, then Wilsack, then Margaret, then we can hear from Dennis and Lillian. So Gloria, if you're able to.
I think you can look at demographics, the size, the age bracket of your audience.
Nice. I like that. Thank you for that, Gloria. Wilsack, maybe we can hear from you. For those who are not able to unmute, this is your time to type in the chat.
You would also consider geographical location where your target audience are.
Nice. Thank you for that. So we have age, we have geographic location. Anything else that we should consider? It could be based on target audience. It could be just based generally. For us to do the best digital marketing, what do we need to think about? Margaret, maybe we can hear from you. If you're able to unmute, then Dennis, then Lillian. Right. Margaret, I think, had an audio issue. Dennis, anything from you? I can see you've typed in the chat. Lillian, I know you wanted to unmute.
Okay. I will look for example, the kind of platforms that these people are mostly involved in. Are they on a specific platform? I will look out for something like that.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I can see in the chat, Dennis says target audience, cost evaluation, channel. Definitely. You guys are marketers anyway. You just need some more skills to be able to just ace this world. But I'm glad that some of the things you're saying are definitely in line with what we're going to be talking about. So definitely, you need to understand different things. And I love that target audience has come up quite a bit, and I think that's where I'll start. When it comes to target audience, you need to understand who they are in terms of gender, in terms of age group, in terms of interest. Very important to understand geographic location as well, so that you're able to know where to target them from. And this is, of course, if you're targeting people. If you're targeting other businesses, of course, different things may need to be understood. Maybe the kind of industry that other business is in, the type of business they do. I don't know if it's relevant, maybe the number of employees, the kind of interest they have. So depending on if you're targeting companies or if you're targeting individuals, you'll realize that your target audiences could be different. And just to cement this conversation of target audience, I want us to watch a video. But before we watch that video, I would like you guys to know that understanding your audience could go as deep as knowing what platforms are they on, because those are the ones you'll join. You won't do email marketing just because your competitors are doing email marketing. You have to ask yourself, if your competitors are doing email marketing and you're targeting the same target audience, is it actually working for the audience? Is it something you should consider? So just don't do all types of digital marketing for the sake. You also need to understand your audience from a perspective of what kind of content would appeal to them. Some people will be here posting long articles and they're targeting, say, Gen Z, who want to watch a 30-second video to understand the entire article. Why are you doing articles for us? And yet you know that we don't ideally like articles as a content type. You need to be able to understand, what do they do online? You know, are they online for research? Are they online to interact? Are they online for different reasons, including even what time could they be online based on their day-to-day schedule? All those things are so important in understanding your target audience so that you can customize your communication to them. I don't want you to think of target audience as a blanket, female, 25 to 40 years old, and that's it. I want you to think of them in specifics. You know, I'm targeting Gloria, who is 25 years old. She could be living in Nairobi. Gloria likes to do this and this and this. For work, she does this and this and this. I want you to go into that detail. So this video we'll watch is by a lady I really love and follow on YouTube. I'll encourage you guys to follow her as well. So I'll play the video. I'll share the link just shortly after the video is done in the chat. But of course, that will also be included much later when you receive the recording and the notes. And she basically talks about things she wishes she could have known about target audience, you know, when it comes to her business, and why exactly it's important to even identify your target audience and what that could entail. So let's watch the video. It's a bit lengthy, but necessary. So the video is 7 minutes long. Let's watch that. As we watch it, feel free to take some notes, either physically or in your head, because I just love to know some of the takeaways each of us will have based on the video. So especially for those who can speak on audio, I'd love to hear from you after the video is done regarding what are some of the things you've taken away or learned from the video that I'll be playing. So I'll switch off my video and I'll play the video on my side. Yeah, so let's enjoy that and see what we can learn by the end of it all. I'll play the video a bit so that you tell me if you can hear the audio.
You can have the best product on the market, but
is the audio clear? Can you hear it well?
Yes.
Someone confirm? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'll just play that.
you can have the best product on the market, but if you don't know who you're selling to, they're not gonna buy it. In today's video, let's talk about why it's important to identify your target audience. First, let's make sure that we're all on the same page about the term target audience and how you can make sure that you are communicating properly to yours. Because what happens if you're not communicating properly to your target audience is, well, it's not pretty. And if you do it the right way, it will lead to infinitely more sales. And then let's talk about the routine you can implement into your business to reevaluate and even pivot in your messaging to always be adapting as your audience grows. So your target audience is the specific group of people that you want to reach with your message. One of the things that we did at my company at Jax Productions is we actually created a full profile of our typical customer avatar. We created these 2 characters and we wrote out everything that we believe about them. We wrote out their demographics, their psychographics, their interests, their morning routines, their pet peeves, what keeps them up at night, so that we as a company can clearly look at that anytime we create an offer or a piece of content or an event or anything, so that we know exactly who we're speaking to. What's so great about having this customer avatar is you can go back to it at any time. When you're creating an offer, you can think, would Stacy like this? You know, I'd actually recommend that you name your customer avatars. In ours, we have a male and a female. We know exactly where they live, how many kids they have, if they're married, if they're single, how much money they make, how long they've been in business, what their pet peeves are, what keeps them up at night. And that way we can actually be really specific in our writing or in our copy, in our content. Have you ever read a piece of content or watched a video where you were like, oh my God, it's like they're in my head. It's like they know exactly what I've been through, even down to the point of what I ate for breakfast today. In a way that can be kind of creepy, but it can also make you feel really understood. And when you feel understood, when your audience feels understood, it's more likely to bring them to that purchasing decision with a lot less resistance. I'm telling you this from experience because I used to hate those customer avatar questions where you'd answer all those silly questions about like, what kind of magazines do they read? And as annoying as it might be to answer those questions, if you don't create your customer avatar and create those profiles, you may be putting a lot of work into launching to crickets. There was was a point in my business where I was struggling and kept hitting a wall. I knew that the product and the service that we had was going to be so valuable, but I was speaking to the wrong people. It was as if I was teaching a university level to kindergarten students. You have to make sure that your messaging and who you're serving and what you're creating makes sense for the person that you're creating it for. By the way, this video was created just for you, and I'd love to invite you to subscribe because I'm putting out videos like this every single week to help you scale your business to 6, 7. We even have some 8-figure clients using our strategies. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can too. It is so important to identify your target audience so that every piece of content that you create is directly speaking to them. Let me tell you a story about a time that I came across a video from someone that I'd kind of known about. I followed her for a while, and I knew her story. I knew that she was an entrepreneur. I knew that she was growing her business, but she had this video where she so eloquently explained her story, her struggles, what she was overcoming in her business, how she hit that turning point. She hit a wall and finally found the answer that helped her to scale to 7 figures in her business. And as I was watching this video, I was so captivated, almost emotional about it, because I had experienced the exact same thing. And I felt like this woman understood me. And when she got to the end of her video with that strong call to action where she said, hey, if you're in a similar place and you want the answers that I discovered, click the link below. I couldn't click fast enough. I couldn't get my credit card out fast enough. And ever since that experience, I have used that as my example of how I want my audience to feel when I'm creating content for them, that I want them to be as emotional as I was, to feel like this is the answer I've been searching for all along. So when you know your audience members that deeply, that you can speak so specifically to their pain points, you can speak so specifically to their dreams and their desires, they're going to feel so understood that it removes all the resistance to buying from you. When you know their pain points and you know their desires, you'll also know their objections. Anytime someone is offered or proposed a product or service that they can buy, usually the first thing that's going to come up for them are some objections. And usually they are vehicle, internal, or external based objections. Vehicle meaning an objection about the thing itself, whatever that product or service is. And they think this won't work for me because, or I've tried something similar and it won't work for me because. And if you understand that, you'll be able to create the story that can help them overcome that. One of our biggest jobs as marketers is to create stories that are better stories than our audiences. And what I mean by that is stories that help them overcome the story in their head that is a false belief. The next objection is an internal objection, something about themselves that they feel like, well, I can't do this because. Maybe it's an insecurity. Maybe it's they feel that they don't have a skill to be able to overcome it. And again, that's where you can tell a story or show the social proof of someone maybe just like them, or maybe even you, that had the same insecurity or the same internal objection and how they overcame it. And this still ended up being the solution that they needed. The other one is an external objection. Usually that's something outside of themselves. Maybe they feel like they don't have the right support around them, whether it's family or team to help them implement or execute this. Maybe it's money, maybe it's time. If you understand this, you can create the story, or you can create more to the offer that will help them to overcome that objection. After hearing that, I'd love to hear from you. What are some objections that you hear from your audience? And how do you think that you can overcome them? What's a story that you can tell, or what's maybe something that you can add to your offer to help them to overcome it? Let me know in the comments below. When you know all this, you know that you can create the right products to serve their needs. With any of their objections, you can cater your messaging to overcome it, or you can add more. For example, someone might come to me and say, I can't do this because I'm not a techie person. I don't know how to code, or I don't know how to build a sales funnel. I could say, you know what? I have the thing for you. As a bonus, I'm also adding in this techie guide for the non-techie person. Or you don't know how to build a sales funnel? No problem. I actually have one that you can plug and play. It is one of my best converting sales funnels. You don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to code. It's all done for you. Do you think that would be enough to help them to overcome that objection? If I just said, no problem, I'm just going to give you mine. And then that leads them towards the sale and actually gives them the solution that they've been dreaming of. The thing to remember is that your work here is never done. As your audience is growing, as you are growing, as your skills are expanding, your messaging can always pivot to be able to speak to your audience in a clearer language with clearer messaging that really hits home and speaks to their desires. Personally, in my company, we are always updating our customer avatar. Maybe we have a new client that comes in and says to us a specific objection that we don't want to forget. We want to be able to answer that, because if one person has it, it's likely that other people will have it too. So we actually have a running document of all the questions we receive or all the objections that we hear, so that we can continuously be catering our message to serve them and to serve all the clients that fit within that customer avatar. Those are some of the most important strategies that I've used to build my business to multiple 7 figures and my clients to 6, 7, even some clients making 8 figures using these strategies. I've actually created a blueprint for you. It's called the Infinite Cashflow Blueprint. You can get access to that for free at the link below.
Great. So maybe we can do a round of takeaways. Gloria, allow me to start with you. Any key things that stood out for you or any new thing you've learned based on that video?
I've learned about listening to the client's objections and understanding the audience in a way that once you're selling a product, you're fully aware of what their interests are.
Amazing.
Then
Thank you.
yes, I also learned about creating specific content such that I'm not just writing or creating content that works just for everyone, but to a specific target audience.
Amazing. Something very, very important, curating your content for a specific target audience. Thanks for sharing, Gloria. Maybe we can hear from someone else who's on audio. I know Lillian has audio. Maybe we can go over to you.
Okay, what I've taken from that video is about the customer avatar scenario where you have to put out the clients, whether if you're going to describe them like per se using the names, this is what Stacy and Dennis love, their pet peeves, everything that they like or dislike, and be able to distinguish what type of content you'll be able to place for them for different specifics.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So being extremely specific as possible. I like that. Anyone else on audio would love to speak? Okay. So definitely, I'm happy that lots of things have been learned. Watu wa chat, I have forgiven you, not for chatting, because then I know you may have to type quite a bit because maybe you've learned a lot from the video, but that's okay, no problem, we'll proceed. So as you can see, target audience is quite critical and you need to start from there as you think of what categories out of what we've just talked about can you actually utilize when it comes to your digital marketing. In addition to that, what else do you need to understand before you do any digital marketing? You have to have a goal. It's very important. You have to have a goal and you need to be clear on how you're going to measure it. You can't have a goal of creating awareness and yet how you're measuring awareness is through sales. Awareness is not measured through sales. We'll talk about how it's measured when we're talking about reporting. In addition to that as well, it's very important for you to understand how do you actually measure, not just overally, but per platform. So if I'm doing email, how do I measure whatever my goal is? And, what metrics can I actually use to measure that? So I want you to keep thinking about all of that, even as we have this discussion, because when you think of creating communication or content for whatever platform it is, you need to understand who your target audience is, the kind of content that appeals to them, where you can find them online so that you narrow down when are they actually online, but most of all, why they should listen to you. I think that's the most important part because that's what makes people buy. That's the reality of it. If they can pay attention to it because you're solving a problem that they have, or if not a problem you're solving that they have, maybe there's something else that they require from you. So it's very important for you to understand that. And even as you do your marketing, I want you to remember at the end of the day, marketing is a journey. People don't get to find out about you today and buy today. It's a journey, and we'll be talking about that funnel in a few minutes. But in the spirit of it being a journey, I want you to be patient with yourself to understand that. And there are different kinds of customers. There are loyal customers. They'll buy today and they'll buy from you forever. There are one-time customers. They'll only buy from you once and never again. There are customers who will be switching. For example, at the moment, due to the economy, I am a switcher. You know, today I'll buy Elianto, tomorrow I'll buy Ritz, the next day I'll buy Golden Fry. You know, I'm a switcher at the moment, and it's very important for the brand to understand that. At the moment, I'm also a discount customer, you know, so I'm looking for discounts. I could change my supermarket simply because Quickmart is having discounts, for example. So I want you to keep all that in mind as you're marketing, because they are very critical things to understand. If you don't understand that part, it's going to be very difficult for you to understand what is happening when you're marketing, so that it's not all the time because you're not making a sale, you actually just conclude that things are not working. So what is this funnel that we're talking about? In this funnel, we're talking about the different stages. Most of the time you'll hear people talking about it and maybe calling it AIDA. So AIDA stands for awareness, interest, desire, and action. So in the awareness stage, you get to reach as many people as possible, tell them about your product or service with the aim of getting them to the next stage, which is interest. Once they're interested, you want them to start desiring to want to purchase the product and eventually take an action. That's what that funnel or journey means. Very important to understand your customer journey, because then in marketing, there's different models, you know, when it comes to coming up with a plan or a strategy. So the closest one to that funnel, which is what we call the AIDA one, is something we call the RACE model. Don't overthink it. The same way you have awareness, interest, desire, and action. In this case, for RACE, awareness is called reach, and then interest is called action. Then desire is what we're calling, desire and action is what we call conversion. And then now the E in RACE stands for engagement. You don't just want people to buy from you once, you want them to buy all over again. That cycle needs to continue. So again, to help you understand the RACE model, I want to play a video. In this video, they'll even give examples of what you can do and how you can measure certain efforts at each stage of the funnel. And then after that, we'll do a bit of comments. I'll give you a bit of food for thoughts to think about that we can do for a few minutes. So let's watch that second video and then have a little chat around it.
Digital is a key pillar in success of each business.
Sorry, confirm that you can see and hear as I get my charger. Anyone on audio? Because I can't see the chat. Can you see my screen? And did you
Yes.
hear the little audio I played?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
But without a clear direction to integrate digital is a key pillar in success of each business. But without a clear direction to integrate digital to your business, you will start making decisions on the fly, which will cost you a lot of money and time. Digital strategy is a chance to bring a clear direction and guidance to any business. A well-planned digital strategy aligns with overall business objectives and allows the business to create a foundation for sustainable growth. Today, we will discuss how to build your digital strategy using RACE model. We will also learn how to implement it and measure it. Welcome to Business Simplified. The idea behind the RACE marketing planning model is to provide a simple structure for companies to develop a digital marketing communications plan which meets the challenges of reaching and engaging online audiences to prompt conversion or sales. But before we go in details, let's understand why RACE model. RACE is practical and action-oriented model that focuses on tactics you can implement in your digital marketing communications. RACE is customer-centered. so it follows the established customer journey or marketing funnel. RACE covers all marketing activities available, whether it is online or traditional offline marketing activities. Now, what is RACE model? RACE consists of 4 steps designed to help brands engage their customers throughout the customer journey. But before discussing these steps in details, there is one initial step which is very important: plan. Your strategy planning involves understanding what is your main objective you're looking to achieve, proper market analysis and market research, who is your target audience, competitor analysis and what is your USP or value you're offering to your customers, and identifying your current resources like budget. Now let's get back to the RACE model. Reach. Reach is about building awareness of your brand, your product, or your service by driving visits to your digital assets like your website or social media pages. It involves maximizing reach over time to create multiple interactions using different touchpoints. In this step, think of ways to reach out to the maximum number of target audience across all touchpoints. ACT. ACT is short for interact. Encouraging interactions to generate leads in the future is a big challenge for online marketers. It's about persuading site visitors or prospects to take the next step in their journey when they initially reach your site or social network presence. Interactions can mean anything like finding more about your company or its products, searching for a product, watching videos or reading a blog post about your product or service, signing up for a newsletter, or a free service trial if you have this option. This can be achieved by presenting compelling content and by making sure you have clear navigation and call to action throughout your web pages. Convert. This is the vital next step to turn visitors into paying customers. This is the conversion to sales. Depending on your business, this could be payment made through online for e-commerce or offline transactions in a store. The key point here is that conversion should generate commercial value for your business. Engage. After the customer purchases for the first time, you need to think about how to develop a long-term relationship with the first-time buyers to build customer loyalty and repeat purchases. Here you're going to use several communication tools like social media, email, or even direct interactions to boost customer lifetime value. Now we have covered the model overview, but let's find out how to implement RACE model. Reach. The point to focus at this stage is to increase traffic to your website. This can be done organically through enhancing SEO or via paid media like pay-per-click ads or online press release and social media marketing. ACT. Here your focus will be to increase engagement with your customer and implement strategies for conversion rate optimization and enhance engagement. Convert. Focus on how to increase your sales. For example, by using offers or discounts for first-time customers. At this stage, it is very important to do A/B testing for different variants of the ads and offers. Engage. Think of key activities like content marketing, newsletter, promotional email, customer service and support, and of course, CRM integration. Now we come to the critical part. Since data-driven marketing is the best approach, we have to set relevant key performance indicators or KPIs that should be looked at each stage. For reach, look at number of unique visitors or new app downloads, increase in percentage of search about your brand on Google or even your website, number of ads or post impressions and audience reach. For ACT, look at metrics such as your engagement rate on social media, conversion rate to leads, example, newsletter subscription rate, or customer registered for free trial. For Convert, we measure key parameters such as sales conversion rate or number of orders. For Engage, look at what is the percentage of active customers, order frequency for each customer, referrals and brand recommendations, and you can measure this by mentions on social media or shares on social media. With all these metrics, you can build your own board to track the results on a daily basis using tools such as Google Analytics and other insights from social media channels. Now you have an overview about the RACE model. If you have any questions, please comment below and we will answer at the earliest. We will cover more about this topic and other topics in the coming episodes. Subscribe and press the bell icon to be notified once a new episode is live. See you soon.
Great. So one of the things I think I just love to talk about is what you're seeing on my screen. At every stage of the funnel, you can decide to do different things. She's talked quite a bit about website and I think social media, but I want you to open up your mind. I think she mentioned email marketing as well with the newsletter subscription. What am I trying to say? At every stage of your funnel, you may find that depending on who you're targeting, you'll have to do different things to be able to reach them. So don't just settle at, I'll do social media marketing only, yet you have an opportunity to do both social media and email marketing, for example, depending on your target audience. So as you can see, there's a lot you can learn. Maybe I'll just open the floor for any questions you may have, any clarifications you'd like me to make at this point. Anyone, anything that's not clear, or was everything clear? I can see Dennis in the chat saying he can't see the video. Sorry guys, I was not on chat. Is that the case for everyone? Were you able to see the video? Someone confirm, or was everyone's screen blank?
I was able to see the video.
Okay, sawa sawa. Dennis, don't worry about it. I'll share the links on the chat. I've just shared one. I'm sharing the second one as well. Then you can just get to watch them at a separate time. But yeah, seems the silence means that everything was
Hi,
clear.
Melanie. I think you can post them also on LMS so that it can be easier for them to access on the LMS. You could also add the videos.
Okay, that's okay. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else with a question, clarification that you'd like me to make? Okay. So I'd love us to just get into our hypothetical zone. Remember, I had said that at some point, to give us some things or activities to think about as a food for thought. And I think that's how I would love to end today's session. Just basically thinking of some of the things we've gone through today in terms of categories that fall under the digital marketing umbrella, in terms of the different things you need to think about when it comes to strategy, from your target audience to the goals, to knowing how to measure them, and so on and so forth. I want you to think of either the company you work for or your business if you have one, or any random hypothetical company. How would you apply some of the questions that I'm going to ask when it comes to these businesses? Yeah, so I think that's what we'll do. And I think maybe actually, because we've not done too much on strategy, we'll focus on the one question. So which digital marketing category out of all of the ones we've discussed do you think would work for that company, and probably why? It would be nice to know why. Yeah, so I think I'll paste the question on the LMS, but I'll also just paste it here on the chat. I think for the remainder of the class, I'd love us to just tackle that activity. You can decide, I'm getting to you, Gloria, you can decide to do it individually. If you like, it can be an open discussion, here on the call with everyone, depending on what you're comfortable with. Gloria, maybe we can hear your question.
I just wanted to weigh in and maybe ask.
Yeah.
I have a scenario where a company wants to maybe they are asking about a specific way on how they can increase the number of followers on their social media pages.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what are tips when you're dealing with such a situation?
Okay, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you, and what?
You had my question. I'm asking, like,
I had your
what if company, yes, what if the company wants you to increase the number of followers, or it's more of engagement on their website? What are some of the tips? Depending on now what we've learned today, how can I incorporate that into that situation?
Okay, it would depend. Followers can be increased in different ways, as well as traffic to website. I'll give you a few examples. For example, today I know that just based on what we've learned, if you work with an influencer, of course, you are going to be bringing more traffic to wherever you're driving people. So if it's your page, if it's your website, working with an influencer could get you more traffic that could lead to more followers. But in addition to that, sometimes when you go the direction of digital advertising, for example, you could find a platform like Facebook has ads that are specifically curated to gain more followers. Instagram doesn't have that, but they have ads curated to bring more traffic to the page that could lead to increasing followers. So top of mind, those are the two strategies I'd say. But in addition to that, I mean, old school tricks like just asking people to follow you, or doing things like giveaways where you tell people, tag 5 people on this post to stand a chance to win, blah, 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 and those people have to follow us. Such conditions. I think those are the few low-hanging fruits I can say that you can jump on to enable you to increase followers. Does that help, Gloria?
Yes, it does. But this is an NGO, so it gets a bit trickier because now the targeted audience is donors and funders. So it's a bit different.
Why would you say it's tricky? Because of that kind of target audience. Think about it. They'll still need to follow you. You just need to position it well.
Oh, so it's about how you curate the message.
Yes, it's all about how you curate the message, because you see, it's not just about asking people to follow you, but why am I following you? What benefit am I getting? What should I expect once I follow you? Those are things you need to think about. But again, lots of things in digital change. So you also need to think about it in terms of, do people follow brands anymore? I can use myself as an example. I consistently check the Facebook page for KCB Bank on Fridays because they post very interesting memes, of course, that make my day, but are also, you know, with an aim of selling to their clients. But for me, I'm there for entertainment. Do I follow them? I don't. But every Friday, I faithfully go to their Facebook page. Why do I not follow them? I actually don't have a reason around it. But you're finding very many people now, especially with how things change online, you're somehow able to see posts from companies even when you don't follow them. A good example is Reels. You may see somebody's post simply because the music they chose to put in their video was trending. You know, you may see TikTok videos simply because you have someone's contact, not because you follow them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. Anyone else with a question before I give us time to tackle the assignment? I actually think we can do it individually. I posted the question on the chat, but I'll also put it on the LMS. Nothing for upload. We can always talk about it during our next session, which is ideally tomorrow. But I mean, for an intro, I'd want you to digest what we've gone through so far. Dennis, I can see you have a question. Yes, Dennis, go ahead and ask. We don't seem to be hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Okay, now you're muted. Okay, I can see you're typing, so I'll just let you type that. Sorry about your microphone. But yeah, you can ask. I had promised to share my contact on the chat, so I think I'll share that right now. As Dennis types, feel free to reach me on WhatsApp. I think that would be easier, just in case I'm in a meeting. I can always respond once done. But for now, I think I've given you the necessary information to just allow you to think if you are actually working with an actual brand, you know, what are some of the things or reasons you would use when it comes to justifying why they should use this type of digital marketing as compared to another one. So that question that I've posted on the chat, and I also posted on the LMS, will actually help you just think about all of that. So yeah, I guess as Dennis chats, I'm glad that we got to meet today. Thank you so much for engaging with me. Looking forward to more engagement tomorrow as well. But for now, I think I'm all done. I'll wait for the question from Dennis. Right, so Dennis says his insight was for the NGO space. It's wise to come up with a power or interest matrix when identifying communiques for your audience. I definitely agree, especially on the interest element. I think it's very important for the NGO space to determine, yes, these people are donors, but what exactly could be their interest and what kind of content can I curate around this that will eventually get them to hit that follow button, for example, Gloria, because people follow you because they want to hear from you. But again, with the way things are going, I want you to keep asking yourself, do we have a metric that's larger than followers, or do we just stick to followers? Maybe a good discussion we can have during our next session. Amazing. So Phyllis, I think I'll hand it over to you. I think for the remaining time, the team can work on the task individually, and then we can use it as a point of reference to start our discussion tomorrow. I don't know if you have any final words, Phyllis?
No, none from my side.
So I think that's it. Nice to meet you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.